a suit and tie and get your hair cut way up high. Get yourself a lawyer, son. You're gonna need a real good one.
And not only a real good lawyer, but real good giveaways today. Yes, it's prize day on the morning show, and we almost never have that day. No, there's no cash cow or anything like that, although I tell you what, if you get your hands on this, you may end up being a cash cow or get the cash out of the cow, because I've got 4 copies of the Law Handbook, your practical guide to the law in Victoria this year, coming in at a slight 1,215 pages. If you don't get your way in the legal action, you could certainly brain someone with it, and I'm not advising that you do that, but whoa, it's a whopper. That's what it sounds like. David Whiting, how much is this worth?
About $170.
Almost a $200 giveaway here on mornings.
Yes, it's also not bedtime reading because your wrist will fail from holding it up.
I was made for commercial radio, you can hear it. I'm giving this away, not to the 4 best calls, because you might be calling in with a legal problem, but you might not want the book. To the person who wants the book. If you would like a copy of the Law Handbook, and you can make a compelling case as to why you should get it, 1300 222 774, and we will give it to you. And pity us, because we're the ones who have to mail it to you. And when it's like this,
yes,
how
the
much that
mailing
costs.
is quite expensive.
That's
$10,
a lot of money.
$12. Yes.
Get over there.
There goes the budget.
Hi, David. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Got any homework?
Yes, lots of homework
Oh,
for last
no.
week. Yes, I'll
Keep
be
it quick, will you?
Okay. Belinda rang from Hoppers Crossing. Assisted reproduction, she went through 2 cycles.
Yes.
There were two harvests, if you like, and the first one was destroyed because she didn't respond. The second one was destroyed because she didn't receive the letter, and as a result, she's now out of. There are no gametes. There's no eggs waiting.
Yes.
And the answer would be there's no penalty, but what would happen, it would affect the licensing of the institute she went through for reproductive treatment. And the issue then becomes that if she's got an action for damages, but I don't really know how you would quantify what the damages are. So it's a matter that you would make, a complaint that you would make to the authority that would be taken up at the time of the licensing of the crowd that you went to. Okay. But can I just, I had a case last year involving someone who wanted to harvest wanted the right to use gametes that had come from a person who had died. They were in a long-term relationship. He died in a car accident, and the law says that unless there is actually written instruction from the person who died before they died, well, clearly before they died, then you can't assume a right to use them.
No, there have been court cases about that, and there have been varied decisions found about whether it was somehow a genuine reflection of what that person would have liked you or allowed you to do, but we won't get lost in the weeds there. What are the other 3 elements?
The other 2 were Tony from Devonport, who booked some accommodation in Melbourne. The hotel said when he couldn't travel, the hotel gave him a credit, and the credit has expired. What does he do? I suggested he looked at the chargeback options for Visa or MasterCard. The bank will have honoured those. So what he's done is he has, by design or whatever, instead of asking for a refund, he accepted the credit. I think as a matter of contract law, he stuck with that, and that's expired. Tony was from Mount Waverley. He was in a forced mediation in a family law situation. Mediation is now compulsory in circumstances where there are children involved, so you can't litigate you can't take it before a judge unless you've gone to mediation. Tony's real issue, though, was not the mediation but the cost. So mediation, look for a cheaper mediator. $10,000 is too much.
Too much, okay.
Yep.
Next?
That's all 3.
That's it? Oh,
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Just
Well, you told me to
together.
hurry. You told me to hurry, and I did.
You're even faster than I thought. Let's get to your calls, 1300 222 774. Rose in South Melbourne, what's going on?
Oh, hi. I'm just wanting to ask some advice regarding transferring of funds from one super fund to another. Is a super fund able to transfer my funds before they've received a my signatured form? Does that make sense?
It does. That will depend upon the rules of the fund. Are you objecting to the transfer, or are you objecting to the no signed form?
I'm objecting to the transfer because it was my understanding I was completing the forms online so that when I was ready to transfer, I would already have that paperwork filled out because I had a quiet day.
Yes.
Then once I got to a certain point, I then received an email that said to me, and sorry, I'll just click onto it, that
I mean, your problem appears to me to be, Rose, that you may well have completed an electronic signing by the documents that you've sent. So,
Yep.
so
But
you may
there
have
was-
clicked a button you didn't intend to click.
no, apparently there was no button. There was a little bit of a disclosure up the top, a information part, and but I said to the super fund, there's nowhere right down the bottom of the form, me ticking a box and saying commence proceedings. So that's my first query. My second query is, if I then receive an email from them and says, we need you to complete and send the forms back to us to finalise the setup of your account,
Then
wouldn't
I
it then...
think that, Rose, is the end of your answer. That's advice to you, telling you that they're not going to process your application unless you print, sign and return. So you have this interesting question because you may have lost some benefits by closing out of one super fund and moving into another. So you need to work out whether you're worse off or whether you can simply transfer the funds back. And if you want to, you can go to the Superannuation Complaints Tribunal to raise the issue if you don't get the answer that you want.
Rose, I hope that's helpful. Thank you. Anne in Melbourne, good morning.
Oh, good morning to you both. My daughter has just got a new job. She's working in a charity shop, and lovely volunteers have made hand-knitted animals. My concern is that they all have buttons and beads for noses and eyes. Mm-hmm. And I said to her, I don't think that's really legal to sell them. And, of course, she rolled her eyes at me, and as daughters do. Yep. But I'm just really concerned that they might get into trouble.
I think you will find that the employer, the shop the charity that's selling these things will get into trouble. So you need to, it's a health issue if these things get swallowed. So I would be suggesting that they go and get some advice as to whether or not their child's safe.
Or is there some advice they could get that might cover them with a sign or whatever, or a warning? No, that won't do it?
No.
Okay.
So I would be going off and getting some proper advice, Anne, and you might talk to, I don't think it's an ACCC issue, I think it's a health issue.
Okay.
And there are, every now and then you'll see an ad in the paper that says that something's been removed because there are parts of a toy that can be swallowed.
All right, so mother does know best, Anne, after all.
I told her that.
Do you want a law handbook?
Sorry? Oh, no, I don't think so. I'd rather somebody who would use it.
No,
Thank you.
It's terribly big. I've got today what I'm doing, rather than just handing it on to someone who might have an interesting story, if you really want it, I think that should be the criteria, then let me know. A couple of people have texted in, so I think this is from a huge David Whiting fan who said, I would love David's handbook, Anna in Montrose. It's not David's book, although would you like to claim credit for it, David?
No, not at all. I only help by buying them.
Would you like to sign the book anyway and say, thank you for reading my book? I mean, no one's going to care at the law handbook publishers.
No, they won't mind. No, I'm happy to sign it.
Okay. Well, Anna in Montrose, you've got one, and we'll take your details there. That's on text, if we can just grab Anna there. And we had someone else before, I think it was from Rosebud. Here we go. No, well, there's this. I'd absolutely love this book. That way I can knock myself out with it rather than listen to the next debate between the two leaders. Fair enough. Thank you, Fleur. Very nice. And here we go. Michelle in South Melbourne. You're our other one. I'll just drag you across here. Michelle in South Melbourne, you've got two. So that's 2 books down and 2 to go if you'd really like one. Where are we? Peter, Doncaster, go ahead.
Is that me?
That's you. Go right ahead.
Good morning to you both. Thank you. David, I've got a unit that I'm thinking of selling to an acquaintance of mine. She doesn't have the money yet, but she said she'll have the money in 12 months' time. Can I sell it to her with a 12-month, settlement?
Yes, you can.
Subject to her being allowed to enter and live in under a license agreement?
No, then you're slightly mad, Peter. What you would do, you have to turn it round. In the event that she was to buy the property with a 12-month settlement and enter into possession of the property pursuant to the contract, then you now turn into the financier, all right? My recommendation is that you do two things, and that's a terms contract, and that's provided for in the Sale of Land Act. What you do is you enter into a 12-month lease with her, and then you enter into a contract of sale with her.
Right.
But not in the same document. If under the contract of sale the purchaser gets a right of possession or the right to enter into the property, then the answer would be it's a terms contract of sale and you can be forced to finance her purchase.
Oh, my goodness.
So you really want to do it the other way. So it's a lease, a residential tenancy.
Yes.
After the residential tenancy has commenced, you then
Yes.
Offer to sell it to her at whatever price you agree.
Right.
Right. Now, the other
Okay.
thing that you might do, because these things can fall over, is that you might make your sale conditional upon her getting a loan approval.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
And the loan approval...
She can't get a loan approval at the moment.
No,
She's a
but
pensioner.
I'm saying the loan approval, say, a month out of your proposed settlement date, just so that there's certainty for both of you in this,
That sounds prudent and safe, David.
which is what we're trying to do.
We need to be, because our friendship may be what it is right now, but these things
Yes.
can change.
They do. They
Exactly.
can.
And Peter just protects everyone, so good luck. We've given away all the handbooks. They've gone to Anna, Michelle, Rosalind and Sue. All these text messages flying in say, I want one. Oh, where were you at 5 minutes past 10 when I first offered them? See, now let this be a lesson to you. You've got to join in early. You've got to keep the radio on. You've got to always be listening, and you must never lose attention. True?
Absolutely. Yep.
It's a good reminder for me as well. Sarah in Trafalgar. Go ahead, Sarah. You're on the air.
Oh, hi. Oh, sorry, I lost attention there. Sorry.
Ooh.
No, just joking. My issue is that our home and contents insurer has increased premiums by over $5,000 per annum.
Wow.
And now we have a claim submitted at the moment for which the engineering from the earthquake, so a long time ago, but the people reviewing that have not received the engineer's report yet. So I can't just move companies. I'm just wondering what I can do.
Well, why can't you move companies? You've already made the claim.
Well, no, they haven't rejected or accepted it
No,
yet.
there's a concept called, the answer is you've made a claim. So that will be
Right.
covered by the insurer who has the insurance on your property at the time you make the claim. You
Right.
can get quotes from other insurers and you can move, and that won't affect the liability of the insurer under your current policy.
The current claim.
No.
Okay, because they're giving the usual responses about increases, but it's
Oh, look, I understand the increase. When something like this happens, the insurers reassess risks by postcode, and what you might find is, given that most insurers work off substantially the same kind of information, you may have the same problem when you go to another insurer.
well. No,
But-
I've already checked with alternative quotes, so
Okay.
that
Then-
their rates are what we're currently paying.
Then there is no reason why you can't change insurers.
Okay.
Right? It's because you've made the claim.
Sarah, good luck with that. Hayden in Berwick. Hayden, how can we help?
Hi, Virginia. Hi, David. I was wondering, how can I stop people from putting junk mail in my letterbox? Because I'm constantly
Get rid of
getting
the
it
letterbox,
filled
Hayden.
with crap. Well, I need to receive addressed mail, but I keep getting flyers from people that I just have to put straight into the bin.
It kind of depends whether it's being put in by a professional or an amateur, Hayden. There are direct mail companies who have policies about what goes into letterboxes when there are signs that says no unaddressed mail or no junk mail. Now, the direct mail people don't do that. But if you were, in the street that I live, there's we get all sorts of things. I've got someone who wants to buy a house. Here's a hardware store. Here's a a bottle shop. Offering us all sorts of things that you can't stop them because they're because of the way the distribution occurs. Right now, but so there's some junk mail that is delivered by Australia Post pursuant to contracts they have with direct mail companies. You won't get them if that's the sign you put on your letterbox. But if it's the deliverer who puts the stuff in from the local pizza parlour, you're going to continue to get them unless you go and get a post office box and get rid of the one in the street.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Thank you for that.
So just straight from the letterbox to the rubbish bin.
That's right, yeah. Do you really get a lot? Is it really that big an issue for you there, Hayden?
It is. I get like 5 or so, like, every day. It just seems like a waste of paper to me. Like, I don't want it. Why are you printing it and giving it to me?
Yeah. Well, they push their wares wherever they can. But thanks for calling in. Graham in East Brighton, what's the issue?
Oh, g'day, and thanks for taking my call. I've got an traffic infringement for failure to obey a traffic light. In April, I was at the junction, St Kilda Junction, to turn right up Punt Road off St Kilda Road.
Don't need all the details, but cut to the chase.
The car alongside me, which was going straight ahead, got a green light, and for some reason I moved off the mark, realising then that I had a red arrow.
Yep.
I've got a traffic infringement that says I failed to obey the traffic lights.
But isn't that true?
81.2 seconds on the red light.
Yes.
Which meant I moved half a car length and stopped.
So you did. So you did.
Yeah.
I moved, but I didn't go any further.
Mate, that's how that goes.
It's going across the line, Graham. It's not going through the intersection. Couple of things. Have you gone and looked at the camera and seen what other people are doing? No, that won't help you much. But you can go and look at the image. The other thing that you can do is you can write to them and say, if you look at the camera, if you look at the pictures, you'll see I didn't move more than half a length. This is my first offence in umpteen years. Would you please waive the fine? And that gets some sympathy, and it might or might not work. Or you can put a day aside to argue the point with the magistrate.
Yeah, well, I guess it's whether it's worth going to the magistrate.
Well, it depends. If it's going to be a day of your time, and you'll get all of 10 minutes, and you may or may not get the required result.
Yep. Okay, I might try it the first tack.
Yes, okay.
And just grit my teeth and pay the fine.
I reckon that's where you're heading, because we've all had those moments, and they are.
Oh, it's exactly what's happened to Graham has happened to me. I just paid the fine.
They're called whoopsie moments, and the whoopsie is entirely on you.
Yes,
it was your whoopsie. You can't argue that any other way. So off you go. Oh dear me. David in Albert Park's got one for you. Go ahead, David. Are you speaking to David?
Hi, David. My name's David too. David, if I had a court case where I lost the case, I lost the appeal, but clearly I still believe that the judge
clearly
error in her judgment.
Yep.
I had been advised by a barrister that I don't want to mention that I can sue her directly.
No. You can appeal the judge's decision. I take it this is a magistrate's court that went to the county court, and you disagree?
No, this is a Supreme Court matter.
Okay, and if you think that the judge was wrong, then you can take the matter to the Court of Appeal. But we're starting to get hideously expensive.
No, I've been through all that, and I've been mocked by the media, but I've got the transcript, and the transcript actually says otherwise.
The transcript says that the judge got it wrong?
Well, the transcript says the judge
Transcript of what?
Well, the transcript of the 18-day proceeding in the Supreme Court says, David, yes, you're right. David, you got the point that we needed. And then in the judgment it is, well, no, you lost the case. And in fact, the opposing party on submission day offered $450,000 for the court to pay me. And the judge turned around and said, no, you get zero. And
I think we're getting very dangerous here, David. The approach is if you're not satisfied with the judgment, you have the right to seek the judgment to be reviewed by appealing to the Court of Appeal.
That's the next port of call for that. And if that doesn't work, and if you believe or your legal advisors believe there's even a matter of constitutional law, you can maybe even take it all the way to the High Court. But in very specific circumstances.
The other thing you could do is you might, if you were properly advised, there's some media approach you might take, but the court got it wrong. But that doesn't get a lot of traction.
No, it doesn't. Joseph in Hughesdale, good morning.
Oh, Hello?
Yes,
Hello.
Joseph, good morning.
Hello.
What's the
Oh,
issue?
the issue is back at my place, I've got some trees along the fence line, and the branches hang over the fence into the next place, and that's a body corporate. There's 5 units, it's a body corporate. And I got a call from a chap, he's one of the unit holders, just complaining about the branches over the fence. I didn't get it from the body corporate, I got it from the unit holder. And the branches are mainly hanging over the driveway, over the service road, and a little bit goes over to his place. So what are my rights?
Well, let's talk about what your obligations are rather than your rights.
My obligations.
If the issue was pushed, somebody could make you cut your tree back so it doesn't overhang.
Okay, right. Okay, so if the issue was pushed, someone can maybe cut the branches back so it doesn't overhang. Even though the person who's complaining, maybe most of the branches overhanging the service road, the driveway, which is right next to the fence.
The common property, yes.
Yeah, the common property, and just a bit into his place. So would I just have to cut back what's overhanging his place, or
if you cut back what's overhanging his place, you stop the problem from his perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean you then won't get a letter from the owners' corporation.
Yeah. Well, I've only had something from the actual unit holder, not from the owners' corporation, not from the owners' corporation. Right.
Well, then why don't deal with the owner's problem and then deal later with the owner's office with the common property problem if it becomes one. But remember that you're going to need to go into someone else's property to do the cutback, are you not?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll have to talk to him and have a talk to him about. So at the moment, all I need is cut the bit of branch that's overhanging his place.
Yes. And you'll solve his problem. Yep.
Yeah. And I don't have to worry about what's overhanging the driveway, the service road, until I get a call from the body corporate.
Well, worry is a different. You don't need to do anything unless somebody asks you to. Right?
Okay.
Good luck.
Okay.
I hope that's helpful. Thanks, Joseph. David, great to see you. You're not taking one of these home with you.
No, I've bought mine.
You bought yours?
Yeah,
Do you use it? Do you find it useful?
Last year I gave it to every lawyer in the office and spent a great deal of money, and the answer would be they've all got dust on them because it's actually on the lawhandbook.net.au, so you can actually read the whole thing online.
Or go to the particular section you want online. Yeah.
I do dip into it. Mm-hmm. It's because I have strange reading habits, not because I want a particular answer.
You need a weekend away.
I feel what I can do.
I'm prescribing one.
You're very kind.
David, who is your star talkback lawyer, David Whiting. He'll be back here next Tuesday and we'll answer more questions for you.